Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Amobi Okugo, host of Money Talks, a new podcast from a frugal athlete in partnership with Billion or Bust Media. Money Talks explores the world of business behind professional athletes. I speak with financial advisors, business managers, marketing and PR professionals who specialize in running the business of being a pro athlete. Tune into Money Talks on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find new episodes on billionourbustmedia.com and afrugalathlete.com. Again, billionourbustmedia.com or afrugalathlete.com.
All right, welcome back, good folks. This is your boy, Jay Richardson, with the 2 Cents Podcast, and now we are going to get into something I just had to do for all of my Buckeye football junkies out there and for everybody who just wants to know a little bit about what's going on with the Ohio State Buckeye football team and this season, what to expect, what we've been seeing so far, and everything involved in that particular, arena. So, this is week one, and as we would know by now, if you are a true junkie, then you probably know that Ohio State faced off last week against Florida Atlantic University, a game in which they won pretty soundly, something around 42-21 or something like that. I don't know. That didn't matter because, honestly, after the first couple quarters, it's very predictable. However, I work for WSYX here in Columbus, Ohio, which is Fox and Channel 6, and we have a fantastic show called The Football Fever, and it is my job to analyze these games and give feedback and to share with the viewers what's really happening. So I want to share with you guys on the podcast as well what I'm seeing, what I'm noticing, and just the synopsis. This was a really, really cool week for me this past week because the head coach of Florida Atlantic University is Lane Kiffin. He is also, funny enough, the guy that drafted me to the Oakland Raiders. He was the head coach at the time, the youngest at the time at like 31 and a half or something like that. And that was a big deal. And he's had a very interesting coaching journey. And now he is here as the head coach of Florida Atlantic. Got a chance to interview him before the game, and then the game unfolded. And let me just give you the cliff notes here. Ohio State came out to a screaming fast start. Justin Fields came out, lighting it up with his arm and with his feet. 28 points in, I believe, the first quarter. 51-yard run touchdown by Fields showed off what I tried to give everybody a heads up about, which is that he has amazing straight line speed. Coach Mick Moriarty there, the strength coach, told me he runs a 4.38. He was dead serious about it. And he said he's like a mix of Braxton and JT, except, he's bigger than both, stronger than both, not quite 6'3", but a hair under, but if he gets his hips pointed straight forward, he can run as fast as anybody on the field, probably faster, and we saw that in that explosive run where the offensive line zone blocked for J.K. Dobbins and Fields took off. After that, he had a fantastic pass to Benjamin Victor, who was wide open, had to have been a bust in the coverage secondary for FAU, and he obviously scored a touchdown on that play. You saw the tight end get into the action, had a young tight end from, I think, the New Jersey area. Kid had 2 touchdown catches for him. That was fantastic. Before you know it, it's 28, rip, the Buckeyes are rolling, and then something happened. The Buckeyes, I think they had like a lapse in focus, which is very common for a young team. You think about it, our team leader, our quarterback's only a true sophomore. The other leaders on the team, like Chase Young, these guys, these are all young guys, sophomores and juniors mostly. And that's what's going to happen when you know you're the better team, when you know you're overmatched, when you know you have the other team overmatched, I should say. This is going to happen. Guys are going to start fast. They're going to come out and want to make a point. And once that statement's made, they kind of lose focus. You ever seen the sidelines of a basketball game or, a Major League Baseball game, and the dugout guys are clowning around and, just kind of lollygagging off, as they call it. They're playing games and they're high-fiving and joking. That's what the Buckeyes were doing, but it was the second quarter. I mean, these guys they're young kids. The score is 28-0. They're over it. They're bored. And what happened? Got to give FAU coach Lane Kiffin credit. He made some adjustments. He got his guys refocused. Doesn't help or doesn't hurt that J.K. Dobbins put the ball on the turf there and had a fumble, which Ryan Day was very upset with him about. Said that can't happen and he's got to clean that up. Him and the running back coach Coach Alford, I guess, got yelled at or whatever, which, I get it. You don't want to turn the ball over, and JK's got to be better, because if you're going to turn the ball over against a team of that talent level, you're going to be in trouble against the better teams. He'll get that cleaned up. JK's a fantastic all Big Ten back. He's going to be just fine. But it did open the window for FAU to at least compete a little bit. They got points on the board, and then our second unit in about the third quarter came in. They gave up some points, and that was one of those things that's going to happen. They're young guys. It's the opener. It's the first game. We're trying to figure out how everything works. We're trying to get the offensive line to mesh, and that took a little bit of time. Ran the ball decently well early on, but, JK didn't go over 100 yards. Fields took some hard hits, which I got to give him credit for. He stood in there, made some throws, took some hits he shouldn't have taken. Offensive line's got to clean that up. And Fields also made some rookie mistakes, right? Running towards the sidelines, doesn't throw it out of bounds, takes a sack when he doesn't need to. He was in the game a tremendous amount of time. I did not like that. I wanted to see Ryan pull him a little bit earlier, but I also get Ryan's dilemma, right? You got a young quarterback who you want to get reps to. You got to get this kid ready to go. You know how serious the Big Ten season will become once things get further down the road, and you want him to be experienced in as many different types of situations as he can be in, and you'd rather have it against a team like FAU, where his mistakes won't be as magnified. I understand that. Here's the problem. He's one bad snap away from ending up in the training room with an ankle or something like that that'll nag him the whole season. So if you do get up a lot early on and you can get him off the field and get his backup some experience, because who knows what'll happen. It's a long season. You want to do that. But that is a dilemma. I get it. So I thought Ryan did what he had to do, and he kept him in the game probably longer than he wanted to. And that was just the reality of it. Defensively, I saw some fantastic things. Chase Young looked like a monster. This kid is going to be an absolute hellion. I got a chance to spend some time with Chase Young about a week and a half ago at practice. Talked to this kid for about 45 minutes. Loved every question he asked me. You could tell a couple things. One, he's smart. His kid's no dummy. Two, he pays attention. Like, he really watches football. He really pays attention. There's a lot of technique things that he was discussing with me, a lot of nuances to the game that he's already familiar with that a young guy usually isn't. So that tells me that he does his research, which tells me the third thing. He wants to be great. Like, he really wants to be great. Every question he asked me was a question that told me, oh yeah, you're looking down the road. Like, you really see yourself being somebody extremely special in this game of football, not just at Ohio State, but you want to be maybe one of the all-time greats, and he has every reason to feel that way, and he should be. The kid is 6'5.5". I don't even know, 6'6" maybe my height. He's like 270 pounds, shredded like muscle, and he's got fluid hips. He's quick. He's long. I mean, he's got every tool you could ask for. He physically looks better than both the Joey and Nick Bosa's, which is hard to do because those kids are specimens, but he is the ultimate specimen. He's a couple different technique points away from being, everything that those two were and more, and I think he'll eventually be, of the three, probably the best in the long run. His game is just so suited for the NFL. He can pretty much do it all. And we saw that on Saturday. We saw young cornerback, he's getting older now, Okudah, who we've been waiting so long to see, just how things were going to go for him. And eventually, yes, it happened. He emerged from his shell. He's making plays all over the field. And I love that. This is what we want. Next up, we had the opposite side of Chase Young, Ja'Shawn Cornell, who was filling in for Jonathan Cooper. He looked very good. A little bit of a wider frame. I like it. Big, strong defensive end. He held the point very well. He pass rushed very well. The linebackers looked good. Malik Harrison was in there smacking guys, making some big hits. Jordan Fuller and that secondary in the middle of the field looked very good. I love the new coverages. I don't know why Shiano the last couple seasons was so hard up on playing that cover 0 or that 1. I like the single high short zone. Keep everything in front of you, but allow these corners a chance to feel confident, a chance to take some chances, knowing that they have some support. And when you have a defensive line like the one we're going to have, it makes it very nice to be able to be a corner, because you know that ball's going to either come out fast or there will be some disruptions, and as long as you can cover, something good's going to happen, and that's what kept happening repeatedly, and I love that. I mean, it was 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Guys were playing aggressive, but they were playing fast, and they were rallying to the football. That's all you ask. Special teams were pretty solid. Mario McCall is emerging as a backup running back and as a return guy. He will break one this year. He's that kind of athlete. There's going to be some special things that happen with this team. I think they're still, obviously, it's just game one. They're still learning about each other, about themselves, and they're trying to figure out a few guys in some new positions, just getting things figured out. And, of course, the quarterback position will be the most critical one to watch as we move forward. Now, speaking of moving forward, Luke Fickell and the Cincinnati Bearcats will be here Friday night, and they will be ready to go Saturday at noon for the kickoff. It's going to be a very physical game. Luke's a tough guy. He was my defensive line coach for 4 years. And Luke is a nut, man. He's wired like that. He was a former wrestler. Like, these guys are different animals. And he is going to wire his team the same way. It's going to be a physical game. These kids from Cincinnati have a certain mentality, like most, in-state schools who aren't Ohio State feel, right? They all feel like, man, we should have been at Ohio State. We didn't make it. And they want to remind you when you get into that, when you get into that stadium, they want to remind you why they should be there and why you shouldn't be. And I think the current Buckeyes need to know that. Like, these Cincinnati boys are come here with something to prove. They got a chip on their shoulder. This team has been turned around in the last 4 years. Luke's got them heading in the right direction. They're going to bowl games. They're winning double-digit games a season, and it's because of Luke, and it's because of his mentality. They're bringing a good handful of guys who are former Buckeyes, like one of my former teammates, Marcus Freeman, who's coaching, I believe, the linebackers and also recruiting coordinator, and they're doing a very good job of getting some talented kids as well. So this will be a much better test than FAU. It is going to be a much more physical game than FAU. Everyone tune in for this one. And about an hour before kickoff, turn your TVs to Channel 6 here in Columbus. That's ABC 6. And I will pull out the old crystal ball and let you know everything that's going to happen. Usually, sometimes, always, mostly right. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a fun game. But I do expect the Buckeyes to, once things are, because every game, you have one shot fired from this side and one shot fired from this side, and then things settle, and then you find out who's really better, and then before you know it, game's over by the third quarter. I think that's how it's going to be, but I think it'll be an interesting first 2 quarters. I mean, the first half is going to be a little bit of back and forth. I kind of hope, because I think the Buckeyes need an early challenge before things get really, really serious in the Big Ten, and I want to see how this young quarterback Fields reacts to some pressure, and I hope there is some pressure on him. And I mean pressure as far as not just blitzing and all that, but I mean game pressure, feeling like he has to make a play. I want these kind of situations forced upon him early, and I want to see his response to them. So it'll be a lot of fun. Make sure you guys tune in. I'll have a recap for you both on the show and here on the podcast, and we'll get you guys all set. That is this week's Buckeye Review. Look forward to these every week from the 2 Cents Podcast and myself, Jay Richardson. Please go and follow us on the 2 Cents at 2 Cents Show on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter at JRichardson99, and we will give you the latest. We will interact. Anything you want to know, any questions you have, or any comments or feedback you want to make, you can DM me. You can respond to either me or the show right there, and we will get into it with you. Thank you guys so much. Have a good day.